Am I late? Are we good? Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Again, and this is I, Lord Ebor Reese Hards, and you're watching Hedgespan Television. And what we're doing here, Hedgespan is a global focus on hedge fund research. And the interesting thing why they wanted to take this segment is because there's a new thing going on at Corp Exchange that I just had to put in. There's certain type of businesses on the exchange that we allow. We allow anyone who qualifies, so there's no discrimination or anything. But when you're looking at the exchange, there's online stores, there's clothing stores, there's clothing, there's food, there's restaurants, there's index funds, there's insurance sales, there's rating companies, there's a whole slew of different business and corporate sponsors, and even, if you will, that are interested in the exchange and are getting on the exchange. A lot of it's local, a lot of it's global, and what's happening is the way they're doing business. Where I see personally, being an economist and all, you don't really you can't forecast what's going to happen, but you have more of an insight on what you think, which way you think the world's going on a different bunch of variables, how money's being spent, how businesses are reinvesting money, on how they do with their captured profits. When they make money, do they grow more jobs for their firm, or do they expand? Do they network with other businesses and share ideas? And this isn't 1986. You know what I mean? Individuals, businesses, they make a lot more money right now, and it's outpaced the inflation so far that a lot of times there's just money laying around. And sometimes, for the individual, or for the onlooker, or for the inquiring mind, that's good. Oh, you have money, you're making money, those people may have money, but for the economy, it's not good. And more often than not, that money can get you in trouble, because you might, an apartment might pick up some of that money and get into trouble with it and take on, go risk averse on you. And you may approve it or not approve it. And the next thing you know, you have a big problem on your hand, infringement rights, lawsuits. So what I've done, and like I said, getting ahead of the curve of technology and the way things are going, because we figure here at Corp Exchange, things are just going to the economy is going to just blow up. It's just going to just go faster and faster and faster. And a lot of it is something that I'm not really interested and I'm not really involved in is healthcare. With healthcare, we want to get in with the dementia and the more of the Alzheimer's. We want to study more of the brain and the mind. You know what I mean? Because in business, it's more mind than anything. You can do a business and make millions and millions of dollars and run your corporate entity until you're 150. You know what I'm saying? But you can't go shovel sand in high tide at 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? You can't run a lawn business and work every day at 70 years old. But you can come here and you start a business and get on Corp Exchange and keep that generating cash flow going and going and going for forever, and you can pass it down as well. So we want to get right to it because we don't have much time here. Just to start off, ATB Bank, congratulations. World Express, Razen, Well Off Fund, Shoeshine Capital have already been chosen, so they don't really have a choice. Those are the chosen ones for this project schedule. And what we're doing is we're just implementation. And I'm just going to give you, there's a couple of phases. We have documents. Okay, the way you store and house documents that you use with Corp information. So if you have documents, and the way you handle and process that document in your database is we're looking at the backgrounds. You're going to have engineer departments just for that. You know what I'm saying? So, the IZ Corp, we have the white papers, and a lot of third-party administrations, they can storm you anytime. And they can say, well, you know, how is our information or the information that you gather from us or share with us, because you might use one of our databases, whether you pay for it or not. You know, everything has to go under IZ Corp, you know, MCC committee and everything, trade rules and trade laws and barter maneuver sanctions, what we use here at the company. And what it does, it protects the individual from the corporation accidentally stepping on them or pushing them out the way. So we don't have a bunch of lawsuits and stuff going on. So you have to have, you know, you have to have core background engineers in the construction and the housing of documents on the IZ Corp Exchange. You have to have drawings, so you have to have a blueprint or a schematic of how the system works that you're storing this. Because if we come in and we say, well, we're not happy with that, you know, you're going to have to be either go right away or get off the exchange on how you can protect that information, not just from hackers, but just protect the information from getting lost. So we want those systems up. You have to have a consultant team review. So you have to have a consulting team. We're not gonna come in and babysit you, and baby walk you through everything that you do in your business that pertains to the IZ Corp Exchange. You have to have a team review. You have to have backgrounds, and I say again, with drawings and the consultant. It has to be 50-50 review with your clients. So the clients that you have, we will look at their databases. We will look at them in the database and see what their function is, to see what kind of clients you're dealing with. You know, just like you say, well, they just signed the Patriot Act. Well, there's a lot of ways around the Patriot Act. We understand that. So if you're doing business with the exchange, you're going to have to present your clients up close and foremost as pretty much in good standings. The specifications all have to be coded and validated and up to date. So you have to do your own evaluations before the third-party administrator comes in. He's not going to come in and do the evaluation for you or wait for you to do the evaluation. You have to have your evaluation done already, so he can just look at the evaluation and check it off or say yay or nay. You have to have drawing coordinations, which this means is, again, with your schematics and your engineers, you know, you're going to have to say, you're going to have to bullet point, be able to have a user-friendly setup where you can just walk, you know, so the person coming in, the administrator coming in can look at your function and just walk through it with little or no explanation. So you'll have the drawing coordination and the code evaluation already in when it's time to do, when they request the inspection. They'll have, when the third party requests the inspection, they'll already have your format. You know, there'll be a set plan and a format that you'll follow, and it'll already be up to coded, so they can just come in and because we don't want to waste more of each other's time. You have to constantly have reviews dated and update with your clients. So if you're doing clients with somebody, let's say you're with Well-Off Fund, and you do a variable annuity, or you do an insurance policy. You don't just leave that client out there just because they're paying their premium, or if you have a client that's a preferred customer, or you're a suit advisor, you're in the lawyer network, or you're with, you know, you might come in through Net Law or through suit advisors or anything like that. You know, you come in and you say, well, we have this client. Yeah, they're good. They have a retainer down, or we have a contract with them, but you haven't spoken with this person in over a quarter. That's not going to be allowed anymore. You're going to have a client review with your customer, and when you come in and when we do the construction documents, you'll have to see the client's updated review. Like, yeah, we spoke with this client X amount of days, or the client was in the office and we spoke with them and went over their contract and their file, and they're satisfied with the work and the service we're providing for them. Or I took them out to lunch the other day, and you know, here's a little note on what we spoke about. You have to have 100% document approval to sign off. So let's just say if the core function is 8 things, You know, you have 8 demands to be met, you have 8 tasks to be met, and you only met 6 of them, you're gonna fail out and you're gonna get kicked off the exchange because all the documents have to be approved at the same time. Okay, so then we'll go on to the binding permits, you know, and bids. You know, when you're doing contracts, when you're quoting contracts, when you're buying databases, and we want to see more. We want to see more like awards, like your preferred customers. People say, well, there's coupons and there's stuff like that. We want to see more accolades given to clients who buy into your services and goods, and especially on the employment side, the administration. You'll have to have mobilization throughout your websites, or especially online, and through your office staff. So what we mean as mobilization is we'll be able to say, you know, we're coming in or somebody's coming in, and you say, well, look, everybody, you need to stop what you're doing and be here now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, this one can't make it. That's going to be unacceptable. You know, everything is on substantial completion. And you will have to prepare and complete punch lists, which are pretty much your document approval. So you'll have punch lists which will say, look, this is, you know, everything checks off, because the more time we save, the better it is for everybody. You know, these aren't things like an audit from the IRS. You know, this is the IZ Corp Exchange, and we're not going to tolerate any foolishness. I'm not going to be looking back and watching companies that are under my exchange and under my watch that I'm taking public, making money for, advertising for, and then they're looking back and they're saying, oh, well, we just had to give out a $300,000 kickback to investors or clients because we cut a corner and they caught it. You know what I'm saying? So we're not good. This isn't Goldman Sachs. This is IZ Corp Exchange. There is going to be no flaws. There's going to be no lawsuits to this kind of nature, because what people say is, well, you have the money. The client gets back his money, but guess what? You don't get, you know, there's no law that says you can't do that. You don't get a criminal black eye. But what happens is it gets out there. You know, it's criminal behavior, if you will. We always want to see developing plans, submissions, approvals. And we always, like, again, reviews, adjustments, and the most important thing that we're really looking at in the beginning is that client review. It's in this project schedule here, this project schedule in IZ Corp implementation. You see it time and time again. Client review. We also want a design development approval. So that means you have to have forms that when you come in, you know, you approve your clients up to your standards. You know what I'm saying? This is to be honest with you, the IZ Corp Exchange and the business that are on it, they're basically for high net worth individuals. So the people that you're doing business with, even if you have a shoe store, you know, the people that you're doing business with, they understand money. They know what money is. They know where they're going. They know what their goal is. They're highly educated, and we're just not wasting time babysitting people who, you know, if you want to make money, you make up your mind to make money. If you want to do something like this, you make up your